Welcome to Awakened Soul with me, Kristen. This is the place to elevate unity consciousness and create the new earth. Are you awakened to your heart and soul-led life? Are you seeking clarity, connection, and a deeper sense of purpose? You are not alone. You are part of a grand awakening, a collective shift that is transforming our world from the inside out. Join me each episode as we explore consciousness and spiritual evolution through inspiring conversations, wisdom teachings, and powerful activations. This is more than just a podcast. It's a sacred global community creating a new earth of unity, love, and freedom. So open your heart, get ready to be inspired, elevate in frequency, and awaken to your highest potential. The shift is here, and it all starts now. Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Bilecki, and you are listening to Awaken Soul with Kristen on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with us for the next hour, and let us help you experience more calm in your heart and mind and clarity on your awakening path. Today, we have our beautiful guest, Zoe Davenport. I'm excited to dive in with you today, Zoe, so thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and if you've been with me for some time, Zoe's also been on the Unity Consciousness event last year, and I'm really excited to just reconnect and see what's present now for us to explore. And so I'll introduce you. Zoe is an adept seer of the infinite fields of quantum existence and higher planes of dimensional frequencies. And she will support one to embody sovereignty and purpose through an all-encompassing dive into the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. And that's what I really sense from you. I really love being with you and your presence too. I know that many really enjoyed our conversation when you were in the event, the Unity Consciousness event, and you hold a presence. You hold a space of connection that's strong and stable. That's what I feel from you. So I'm always grateful to be able to connect.
Thank you, Kristen. That's so sweet to say. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that we were able to flow in this particular time of year as well. And it's such a pleasure and gift to be here.
Especially this time of year. So before we started to record, we started to share about this time of year a bit. And you said something that really struck me. I loved what you said, and I may say it, right, I may say it, but you can correct me. But reclaiming sovereignty from expectations, and you may have, and I would love to explore that a bit because I think it's a really powerful place to presence.
Yeah. So as I was sharing with you before we were on the call, this is what I love to call, this is where it gets to be the silly season, where everyone has the best intentions throughout the year. And then suddenly there's this collapsing of time and space where the year is running out, the expectations of the year are trying to be squashed into a very limited capacity. There's an endless to-do list. There's the overwhelm. There's the collective urgency. There's also family obligations. There's also expectations of family. And then there's also quite often some sadness as well. Like, this time of year can be a very challenging time of year for a lot of individuals. Like, not everyone is in this festive joy space, this joy state reality. And so what I was sharing about reclaiming sovereignty is bringing yourself back to you, into your personal power, and reclaiming your schedule, your space, and your time from a perspective of joy, but also deep nourishment of self. And so it doesn't mean to say that you can't be as busy, but it's just having the presence and the awareness to that. And, I had a call with a dear friend of mine today, and she's literally sat with no power in her hairdressing salon, and she hasn't had her morning coffee, and she's still trying to see her clients that day. And I just kind of lovingly shared with her, what is the urgency? Because quite clearly, there is something else for you today that is asking you to surrender and to let go. Yeah. And so when we kind of worked through it with her, she realized that she was trying to people please because she said she would do something. And this is that kind of extra collective intensity we have, that particularly December. It's like, oh, we've got to do everything before Christmas. It's like, no, you don't. They can have their hair done in January. Is anyone going to die? No. Have you had your coffee? Are you going to die because you haven't had your coffee? Yes. So go get yourself a coffee, close the salon, have the day off. People would rather come and see you when they can get the full expression of
Mm,
your gifts and joy with them instead of you trying to do something in the half energy. And I
mm,
think that that's what happens at this particular time of year is we start running on reserves and empty because we're not replenishing and nourishing ourselves because we've overextended. And then there's an interesting thing that happens with the mind. The mind then goes, oh, now I choose this is the time I'm going to deep clean my house on top of doing all the work, on top of gift giving, and. So let's bring it back to stillness and presence. This particular time of year, especially if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, is a traditional time of slowing down, of introspection, of creating spaciousness, of nourishing the longer nights of the darkness. It is not meant to be a period of intense busyness. And so it's about reframing how we're choosing to navigate this time of year, but with spaciousness, expanding our perspective of time so that even if there is the busyness and the silliness of this festive season, it is done from a place of deep embodiment and sovereignty and joy and connection and nourishment. And so
mm.
that's the reset. And quite often this time of year, I'm running different masterclasses to bring people back into that presence because it gets to be silly season.
It does, and I am really excited to talk about this because for myself, this is the first season where between now and after the first week of January that I only have one call.
Amazing.
Usually I have, things lined up and I'm like, whoa, I'm like feeling into that going, ooh, this feels so nice. I get to settle into my body through the next few weeks. And it's also been inspired by recognizing how much has happened this year and going, I need to self-reflect and re-nourish so that I know what I'm moving with because I can feel the different frequencies calibrating and the different experiences that want to be had. And if I just keep on going, then I'm not going to be able to show up, like you said, in that fullness of myself. And I feel that's so important. And I was on a call with someone earlier myself, and we were talking about just that, filling ourselves up. She's like, I forget to fill myself up. And it's like, how can we? And for me, on a regular basis, I'm calling my energy back from where I may have left it within calls or people or experiences or with my son. And I'm just like, I get to come back home to me. So I can stay as full and nourished as possible and rest when I need to. But I'm really excited for this season for myself. So I'm just encouraging everyone else, same thing, like what you're saying. How can we slow down and really allow ourselves to be in that deep space of nourishment and connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we don't, we will burn out very quickly because we are energetically wired to be extra sensitive than
Yeah.
the average person. And so when we're running around in a space of out of body and frantic energy and feeling overwhelmed by all of the expectations that we self-impose quite often based on our ideals of what we think we should be doing, we burn out really super fast,
Mm,
right? And so this is a time of year to really be reflecting through grace, through gratitude, through
mm,
compassion, through self-realization, through self-actualization. Okay,
mm.
how did this year go?
Yeah.
What is my desires? How am I going to show up differently as I go into the new year?
Mhm.
What am I choosing to let go of? How
Yeah.
am I choosing to nourish and restore myself at a cellular, atomic, and subatomic level? And so it's getting really crystal clear. Even if there are things that you have to do it with more presence. Just slow down a minute. Even if you're sat in traffic, a wonderful opportunity to listen to a podcast like this, to
Mm,
shift the frequency, to shift
mm,
your perspective of reality. How do you get to play with space time? Because also, thank you, this is an incredibly magical time of year for
Yeah.
manifesting miracles, there is a collective hum of excitement, of glitter, of sparkles, of gift giving, of generosity, of abundance. So it's a really wonderful time to tap into that collective generosity and to
Mhm.
feel that at
Mhm.
a cellular level through the nervous system to help with any intentions, with any goals, of any desires, right? And so what if you didn't do XYZ this year?
Mhm.
Carry it over to the next year. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I'm feeling that completely. And I was really feeling moving through the next, well, I mean, I'm going to be honest, for me, sometimes I don't want to feel that obligation even to time of this month and the new year and, the collective time frame. Because to me, it feels like for me, it's like a continual energy. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going with the season, right? I'm just going,
Mm-hmm.
okay, right. I'm going to be with family. I want to show up in my deep presence. And when I do have my quiet time, I'd like that quiet time to be filled with play and wonder. I get to play with my son and my niece. I get to go outside if there's snow. I get to do those things instead of focusing on all the to-dos. And I feel that joy and wonder and miracles that you're speaking of, there's right now, even just with the energies in this particular solstice, it feels like there is a huge gateway opportunity for us to step into this new frequency of ourself and doing exactly what you're saying, the self-actualization, the presence, the grace, and giving ourselves, even because even just my meditation, and I'm like, I'm open for a miracle because I'm going to be moving and calling in, our next aligned home. And I'm just like, I'm open for that the miracle for that next frequency shift, this space. Because I don't feel like this space supports our frequency anymore. It's like a shift in on the land and everything. And so I'm like, all right, and just really sensing into those things that we are becoming and embodying and opening up our field to that instead of the micro focus of all the things that the holidays can bring. Is like you said, tapping into that energy to generate our 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 aligned connections with ourselves and others. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also honoring your micro season, right? This
Mhm.
might
Yeah.
be a beautiful time of year where you're feeling more in the spring of your creations, or you might be
Yeah.
feeling more in the summer of your creations, or you might be feeling more in the autumn of your creations. And so, sometimes, seasonally, yes, if you're in the northern hemisphere, it's a time of slowing down. There's longer that,
Right.
the nights are longer, and it's a great time for planting seeds for creativity, but you might be in a slightly different season. So it's also
Yeah.
honoring that internal season to get into alignment with your desires and your goals. And you're right. There's the 31st of December happens, then there's the 1st of January. There's multiple times a year that we can have a new year. There's multiple times a year that we can have a fresh timeline or a new
Mhm.
existence or a new reality. Like I feel like I'm bouncing in and out multiple times a year. I thought I was
Me
going in
too.
one direction and I shifted a timeline, but I still had said yes to these certain things. And I'm doing the things thinking, oh, this is a different timeline. And then I'm having to get out of it knowing that it's not resonant anymore. So, you know,
Yeah.
this isn't the only time that we have to create magic in the world. Like there's space, there's time, there's lots and lots and lots of beautiful things ahead of us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel it that's through this gateway. What I'm speaking is that expansion of time,
Mm-hmm.
shifting from that limited scope of the finite, the limited thinking of finite nature of things, of going, oh, wait, yes, there is an ending and there's a beginning of things wherever we are in our internal experience or our internal season. I love how you put that. And then going, okay, if I'm in a new beginning now, or maybe I'm in a completion and I don't know what that new beginning is, or maybe I'm in a beginning and I'm not really sure where I'm going, right? Or like this, I really want to complete this and I'm ready for it to complete, but it's not quite completing yet, And so it's like really taking a moment. And one of the things that happened earlier also on a call was, we were working with what the things were that were shifting. And there was a lot more shifting than what was showing up as, the aligned movements forward. And there was a little bit of like, oh, wait, but how, this doesn't feel quite good because there's less, in the moving forward. And it's like, well, what we honed it down to is what's the meaning and the quality?
Mm.
What's the meaning and the quality of those things? I think that's what I feel more drawn to in my life right now, and I'm feeling that through the collective is let's focus on the true meaning of whatever season we're in, whatever we're choosing to do. What's the true meaning and the quality that's going to really enhance our experience so that we aren't maybe as dense. It'll be lighter because there's more meaning and quality going along with whatever we're choosing to do and putting that type of presence into the experience.
Hmm. And it's allowing, there's always a slight time delay with the physical self and the physical reality. And sometimes when we're in that period of transition, the mind can think, oh, it's not working out, or something's not quite right, or it's not showing up for me. And it's having comfortability in the spaciousness. It's,
Hmm.
it's finding that comfort in the unknown and being okay with that. Because the unknown and the space is how we get to fill back in what
Hmm.
is truly in alignment for us. And particularly if you're listening to this leading up to the solstice gateway on the 21st of December, or this period of time in general, it's a great opportunity to set some time aside and create an intentional ceremony with yourself and
Hmm.
really journal and check in with self. Am I feeling in alignment to my heart's desires? Am I in alignment to taking action steps on the goals that are going to get me towards what I feel to be true inside? Am I creating the space to align to that, or am I just waiting for this never-ending moment in the future?
Hmm.
And I see this a lot as well, where we it's almost like a lot of people that we give our power away to the universe to wait for excuse me, divine timing, but we have to meet it halfway. We have to meet it with the level of consciousness and focus of like, no, every day, what is it going to take for me to tip the needle in the right direction of my soul's desires?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Every little step creates the bigger step or the bigger
Mm-hmm.
piece, it's not, it comes with that consistency of
Yeah.
showing up and tuning in and allowing what is aligned in the moment for yourself in those actions or thoughts and experiences. And you said something which I feel goes along with this as well earlier about expectations of your soul purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that's huge and something I like to talk about too. So I'd like to explore that as we move through, which, because a lot of people might feel that, oh, this isn't happening yet. Why another year and I'm not doing this from the vision that I had or whatever it was that came up. So, yeah.
Yeah. So downloads, visions versus ego's expectation of time.
Mhm, indeed. Absolutely.
And divine timing, but also they're met with needing action steps to align to that divine timing. So it's this beautiful, intricate dance with self as a conscious being and the connection. And something that's been coming up a lot in client sessions recently is this sense of, oh, I can't wait to live my purpose. I can't wait to be doing my
Mm,
purpose.
yeah.
And we go into that. I'm like, okay, what do you think your purpose is? And it's always related to a particular action step of being in service to others. And people get downloads like, oh, I've told I'm going to be a writer or a psychic medium, and great, that's beautiful. I love that. It's amazing. It's great
Mm,
that we're all activating our spiritual gifts and we're helping each other and humanity grow and
mhm.
evolve into our brilliance. And we
Yes.
need to also allow for the deep cellular reconfiguration that needs to happen at an atomic and subatomic level in order for the physical vessel to hold that level of consciousness, to be embodied in the way that we're showing up in our purpose. And
Yes.
so the purpose is also taking excellent care of the physical vessel, not
Yeah.
ignoring the warning signs, not disassociating. And I see this and I've seen this so often, time and time again, 15 plus years, having these really amazing, unique, mystical, spiritual experiences through astral travel and remote viewing, and oh, it's amazing. And how's the physical body doing? Oh, I hate my physical body. This is hurting and that's hurting. I'm like, okay. And the physical body needs to catch up, but we
Hmm.
need to be embodied for the physical body to catch up. And that is the uncomfortable truth that the ego mind is so stubborn about, because it's like, oh, I actually have to be in the physical body. Yes, this is the spaceship. We need to give it regular, tender, loving care. And this also is what helps us and shapes us into
Hmm.
the amazing teachers, healers, psychics, mystics, writers, Reiki practitioners, and is through the physical embodiment. We cannot bypass this step, because if we do, we'll get very sick. We'll be
Hmm.
worn out, we'll be agitated, frustrated, less than, and we'll be contracted in our light field, because we won't be able to process the higher frequencies through our nervous system. So that's what determines how expanded our frequency is the regulation of our nervous system. It's how our nervous systems process the light. And so when we're walking around with a certain level of density in our field, at a cellular level, an emotional level, a mental level, it is going to be blocking our divine potential, our true soul's calling. And so I love that when people come to me and they've been given these amazing messages for their soul purpose, I feel so blessed and happy to meet them in those spaces. And then I always bring it back to the body. And I'll share this story with you because I think it's really funny. So it was about 15 years ago. Where are we now? 2025, 2010, 2009. Around that time, I think 2008 or 2009. I can't quite remember the timings of it. But 2007. I don't know. My brain's gone. At some point, a very, very long time ago, I wanted to change careers, and I was in catering hospitality for 15 years. So I was very physically demanding job, and I'd done all the different roles and hats in catering. Started to have my awakening, and I knew that I wanted to do something different. And so I started to research massage therapy, because I felt like it would be nice to still do something with my hands. And this was simultaneous to, kind of everything awakening for me on an energetic level. And I remember opening the door to the massage school day one, and I heard this message in my ear. This isn't going to be a 30-year career for you, but this is just opening the door to what you're going to do. And I was like, I've dropped thousands and thousands of dollars on this course. I like just committed like 2 to 3 years of my life training. What do you mean this isn't the thing? This isn't the purpose. I really thought that was the purpose. But what I realize now is that spirit needed me to understand a certain level of the physical body, the anatomy, the physiology, to be able to cleanse and purify my physical vessel enough over the years. Because then I went deep dived into the energetics, the physical, the body work, and it allowed me to understand a really good comprehension of the integration piece, because I was also having a lot of out of body experiences, but then I'd hit back into my physical vessel and I would feel so dense and so heavy and so discombobulated and so out of space and time. And it's almost like I was really struggling to function. And I felt like, how do I understand the amount of light and purity and innocence and love and divine energy that runs through me? But then I come back here and I'm like, oh my God, this is like walking through sludgy treacle. And so the integration piece, slowly those components started to come into oneness. And so now when I'm working with clients or working with energy or doing my own inner work, it's with the integration. I'm here physically in the body. And I cannot emphasize this enough, the importance of this piece.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Absolutely, 100%. It's all about the embodiment piece. And really, for me, taking care of the body was, it just started opening up for me as a teenager to start taking care of the body. It was like, oh,
Beautiful.
okay. All right. My mind was like, no, we don't take antibiotics every time we get sick, Mom. Thank you. And, oh, right, maybe yoga and meditation and like, okay. It was just started to those types of meditations started to open me up to, wow, this is a temple. This
Mm.
body is a temple. And I can't really, because watching the world and seeing people having health problems, like I grew up in a neighborhood and it felt like everyone had health problems, including people in my family. So it was like, I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. Like that's how it started for me. It's like it didn't make sense to me that here we are on Earth, and my perspective coming in was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a beautiful experience, and come to Earth, and it's like, whoa, like you said, it's like sludge. It's like, what's going on? I'm just like, moving through all this density within my own being as well. But it was through those processes and then doing medical intuitive work that it was really keyed in of this being our vessel. And like you said, if we want to flow that level of energy, if we want to flow that level of vision and meaningfulness, purpose into the world, then absolutely 100%. It's got to come from how our bodies are functioning and supporting that and giving ourselves that type of attention. And so what I've been coming to, I had a couple of things that came to me around this was one, our awakening or our soul's purpose isn't something to achieve, it's a way of life. And and a part of that way of life is this first. This first. And if I am not first, then I can't really show up at the level that I know is possible through those visions, through those downloads, through those experiences. And my soul purpose, in essence, I feel like soul purpose in essence is ourselves. Our purpose is us.
Mhm.
Knowing ourselves, actualizing ourselves, and then that ripples out into the experiences and everything else that wants to come through that into the world.
I love that. And just to add an extra piece to that is be comfortable with perhaps receiving information from spirit, but it doesn't have to be instant. And I see this all the time as well. It's like, oh, I've been told by spirit that I'm going to XYZ. I'm like, great. And then there's this sadness of like, but it's not happening yet. I'm like, it's probably not time. Or there's something else that needs to click into place
Hmm.
beforehand. And the ego does a really good job at convincing us that time is real and that it has to be done yesterday.
Hmm.
It's really good just to kind of go, okay, I see you and your expectations, and let me just zoom out a little. And, I had this, I think like, oh gosh, 10 years ago, I had my vision board and I put things on my vision board every year, and lots of things would manifest in that year, but then some things wouldn't manifest in that year. I'm like, oh, I'm not very good at manifesting, or what did I do wrong? And like,
Yeah.
I was sure that I was meant to do this thing. Like, I received the guidance and meditation. And, sometimes we receive insights into our future potential, but we're shifting in and out of timelines.
Yeah.
And just because we received a piece of information, that may have evolved,
Yeah.
right? And then also to that, it may just not be the right aligned moment. And so I'm receiving now some of the things that my ego would have me to have believed to have manifested 10 years ago.
Hmm.
And suddenly these things have started to come in. I'm like, oh, I put that on my vision board like 10 years ago. That's really, and I'd like completely forgotten about it. And I remembered recently, I'm like, oh, I remember that there was that thing that I wanted to do or create. And actually, I didn't even need to do anything like that. That actually just came to me. And I'd even forgotten that that was a manifestation.
Hmm.
And so, I had this once with this lady. She was told by a psychic, I think it was like 10 years ago, her purpose, XYZ, it has to be this. And I just said to her, and how does that feel for you now? She's like, oh, it feels really not resonant, but like I was told this thing. I'm like, well, maybe it was at the time, but maybe it's not now. Shall we let that go? She's like, oh, can I? Can I
Yes.
let that go? I said, yes, you can. She's like, oh my gosh, the relief in this woman's field. I'm like, now we get to open up to what is truly resonant
Yeah.
to this moment for you through that open heart
Mhm.
vessel, and actually really see and feel what is abundant and aligned. And there's so much that opened up for her afterwards. It was beautiful.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? It is. It's incredible when we can not feel so what the ego wants to do is like put it in a structure, put it in a frame. Okay, we're rigid. We're going in this direction. All right, and how we can even in our soul's expansion and our awakening build these cages,
Mhm.
of this is the way the process works and this is what I'm going to do. And I find that I also love to work with people to shift those limitations because that's not at all how it works. It's like we're in a moving, one decision affects another, one choice affects another. And and when I step back to the bigger picture too, it's like everyone else's choices affects the bigger picture. So maybe there's a person that we need to meet or something, but ooh, maybe it's going to take a year longer because, we made this choice or they made that choice and the alignment needs to come back into calibration. And that's okay. And that's one of the things for me is coming into that awareness and going, I'm here now. What's aligned
Mhm.
right now? What am I really feeling instead of reaching for something? Because I had that too. I would get so impatient sometimes when I was younger, like same with you, like 15 plus years ago. I would just get so impatient because I could feel inside of me and I could see these things. And I'd be like, all right, all right. I remember one person would always tell me, just be patient, just be patient. And then in hindsight, it's like, whoa, yeah, this was so not ready for what I'm doing now. I needed to work through so much of my own inner work and my own capacity to receive and have the wisdom and the awareness of what processes all of this goes to. So I felt like I was going through a whole process of seeing what actually the awakening process is on all these levels so that when I'm actually in the work, it's like, oh yeah, it's second nature because I've been through it and I've been through the deep dives and recognize the layers that other people are showing up with, the experiences that the other people are showing up with. So I feel like, we're in always learning and growing. And if we can come from it from that perspective, like, ooh, I get to grow, I get to learn, I'm on this adventure of exploring this experience rather than I have to, or this is what's going to happen, and put those structures around it, then it's so much more easeful and we can flow with it better.
100%. And it also starts to dissolve and dismantle the martyr program
Oh, yeah.
that's rife as a program when you have your spiritual awakening. There's a sense of urgency of time and you've got to be doing your soul's mission and purpose. And that is also it's a consciousness trap. It keeps people in a very limited capacity of actually sharing their soul's truth and their gifts and their purpose from a space of deep personal empowerment and joy, right? And the joy piece is what keeps us in that ascended frequency of light.
Mhm.
And it's the ego that then kind of blocks that and creates it to be hard work. Like there's a mission and an intensity. And I had this a lot when I first had my awakening. I really was buying into that. You know, it's my duty as a such and such to fix and solve humanity's problems. And
Yes.
I've got to heal Gaia, and Gaia's just laughing at me like, "What do you mean you need to heal me? Like I'm fine."
Right.
And yeah, there's a lot of destruction and dissolving that's happening in the collective field. And each and every one of us gets to be an active participant at creating a new heaven on earth, as we call it.
Uh-huh.
And but without the sense of urgency that we haven't done enough. And I see this a lot, that people, they give themselves a hard time, that they feel the deep inner work that they're doing isn't enough to be helping. And it's like, actually, this is part of that deep embodiment process that's happening, and that allows somebody to be able to hold so much more for somebody else, right? And you get to
Absolutely.
simultaneously, but it's just breaking down these expectations of self as well.
Exactly. And I appreciate that because that's a part of I feel like once we get that nudge, we get that nudge and we start going in that direction. It's like all the self-work that's needed just starts to show up as we start
Mm-hmm.
moving in the direction of our vision or our dream or that experience. And like you said, we I feel like some people think like, okay, well, I need to get here with this aspect of my inner work to even go out into the world. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that can be an expectation or a trap too, instead of going, wow, what if if there is that inner inspiration to start, it's like, then start. And
Mm-hmm.
your inner work, like you said, will be simultaneously along with it because you'll be learning and growing. And I always love to say this when I was in yoga teacher training in my early 20s. The Baba that was there, he was like, teach to learn, learn to teach.
Mm,
And it's always happening. It's like that infinite movement of life. It's not static. Like I get to this point and then this happens. And I get to this point and then this happens. It's like it's a symphony. And there's so many moving parts. And if we can recognize that wholeness of ourself and all the aspects that are at play and the beauty of the bigger picture and relaxing into the bigger picture and then taking those, as you were saying so beautifully, those aligned actions and meeting the divine halfway in each day of showing up and saying, "Hey, what's here for me now?" Then
mm,
that is such an incredible, and it's a practice. It really is a practice because I still get impatient once in a while. I'm like, really? I didn't do that or whatever, or I'd love to be able to do this and I'm not doing it yet. And then I'm like, okay, I hear you. Let's just calm down. We're not there yet. I'm not taking the action towards it yet. So if I'm not, then what's here? And if I
mhm,
really want to do that, then how can I start moving towards that? Instead of it
mhm.
being a looping ego thought that just drives us mad.
Yeah.
hmm
I think it comes down to the worthiness piece as well. Like, I am enough, I am worthy, right? Everything is working out in exactly divine order.
hmm
It's being orchestrated through harmony and compassion and self-acceptance and
hmm
tapping into that infinite wisdom within the heart that's gently guiding us in our journeys,
Absolutely.
right? And then when we start to kind of get into the mind matter, it's like, oh, where is the ego steering the ship again? Where is the ego in expectation? Where is the ego abandoning self in the name of spirituality?
hmm
Where do we need to come
Ah,
back to presence and stillness and
mhm.
slow down again and reset?
Yeah. I love how you just said that in the name of spirituality, right? It's almost like a religion now. It's like become a religion, and these are the things that have to happen. We have to follow these steps and do these things. And it's like, whoo, let's step back from that and not let the ego create that process of patterning. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a tough one. The ego is always going to be there. Like,
Yes.
I identify as this character, Zoe Davenport, in
Yes.
this human avatar, and I'm quite happy to have the ego connection of that. My human ego is really enjoying having this human experience as this avatar.
hmm
And it's recognizing, okay, where have I gone too much into the expectation again? Where am I running around disembodied, right? Like,
hmm
not allowing the true presence and connection of what wants to happen and what wants to come in,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm just feeling that bridge of what we're talking about into that space of deep nourishment during this time.
Mm-hmm.
Just sensing that as a real foundation of how we choose to live life, not just in this time, but any day, any time. And I know that's something that's been really significant for me, and also the reason why I'm taking this time to myself and just be with my family and just be, and also just complete things, like just do some tasks that need to be completed, right? And I feel
Mm.
like that feels nourishing to me. So I'm wondering if we could just take people through. I'm just feeling that it was just coming in. So I'm just curious if you want to lead something for maybe a few minutes to bring people into that space of deep nourishment of
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I'd
Okay.
love to.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
All right. So when you are all ready, just closing down your eyes and taking some cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then breathing in through your nose and out through the nose. And almost imagine yourself breathing in through your nose for a count of 6 and gently breathing out through your nose for a count of 12. And as you focus on this inhalation and exhalation, just feeling the soles of your feet connecting into the earth, imagining you grounding and anchoring all the way down into the crystalline core. If your mind starts to wander, just bringing it back to the breath, breathing in, allowing those exhalations to be longer. Dropping the shoulders down, allowing the eyelids to become heavy. Gently releasing the jaw, any tension. And just bringing all of your awareness into the here and now. Connecting into your heart. Connecting into your physical body. And in your mind's eye, just imagining this beautiful golden energy from your heart starting to open, grow, and expand into every single cell of your body and into your aura, allowing your entire system to become brighter and lighter, almost feeling like your light body is activated, reconnecting to that emotional intelligence within your heart space, within your heart portal. Remembering your breath as your guiding and activating tool. And almost imagining the outer edges of your aura being strengthened and brightened in rose gold energy. As you expand your energy field out, recalibrating your nervous system and resetting your field at a cellular, atomic, and subatomic level. Remembering yourself and your cells as energy, as light encoded consciousness. As you bring yourself and cells back to the remembrance of this light intelligence, of this wisdom within you. Let your multi-dimensional capacity to think, to feel, to create, to receive is always within you. You are a star system of thought form, of divine consciousness. So as you use your breath, feel yourself in this vibrancy, this tonal humming range of your aligned frequency. As you allow yourself to shift your emotional state, to shift your mental state, to shift your physical self and cells, to harmonize to the divine energy within you that is aligning you to your highest timeline, to your highest soul's expression, to your divine purpose. And so that any healings, activations, downloads that you receive from this moment on is of the highest decree. And that all energy that is not here for your highest good and the good of others to go home and evolve now, that nothing else may enter your field that is not of this true resonant. So using your breath and feeling your vibrancy, recalibrating, repurposing, reorientating yourself to the light force energy within you, breathing in and breathing out, remembering your vessel as your sacred spaceship that you get to travel interdimensionally through the realms of consciousness and self-awareness, of third dimensional, fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional, sixth dimensional, and above. And in this moment now, drawing to you all of the gifts, all of the knowings, and everything that you need to walk along with purpose and intention and embodiment. Taking a deep breath in, deep breath out. And as we come to you with this collective message and intention of love, we remind you that it is easy to step into this remembering, this reawakening. Your breath is your tool, and that you can come back to your state of awareness anytime, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. When you are ready, slowly awakening your eyes, allowing the light to welcome you into this new version, this new presence, this new reality.
Glorious. Thank you for bringing us into such a perfect state of being. Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, just inviting everyone to really take that in and also know this will be on recording so you can listen to this like you were saying earlier. Listen if you need to welcome yourself into this state. It'll be available for you, and I'm really grateful for that too. So imagine, I just feel that for all that are listening and who are going to listen, just the frequency that creates for the body that takes it in, and then how that ripples out through the field and really anchors that in through the collective consciousness that knows this state, that really knows this space and is moving towards that more and more in our capacity, in our self-actualization, awareness, awakening, and what Mother Earth is really, I feel, well, the whole cosmos is encouraging us more and more to embody.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that reminder that sometimes we feel we have to do these massive spiritual gestures to get back into alignment. And, that was what, 5-10 minutes? It's like,
Yeah,
okay, I feel good. I'm ready to go. Round two.
exactly,
Let
exactly.
it roll, Christmas. I'm ready to wrap the presents.
Uh, yes, and unwrap the gifts of life.
Yes, exactly. I have 2 presents to wrap this year, and they've been sat there for a few days, and I'm in deep resistance to even wrapping anything this year. It's like, oh, I have, because then there's this participation of the Christmas festivities, and it's like I enjoy this time of year, and equally I love to just dip my toe in ever so slightly. But there's this
Yeah.
resistance to wrapping. I'm getting to the point where I'm actually going to have someone else wrap these presents for me because I am so busy with other delightful things of my conscious choosing. It's like, oh
Yes.
yeah, there's that Christmas thing that's happening next week. Oh, okay, I'll dip in a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting that you bring that up because I have been feeling for many years to shift that, and having family and a child, and how that just we keep circling back to it, even though every year we always have a conversation of what could we do different,
Mm-hmm.
And so this year I really want to bring it to the table of what can we do different to shift this experience that we flow with, and it's a lot of fun and we have a great time, and maybe isn't aligned for what we really want to be doing. I was like, let's go somewhere. Maybe we create new ways of traditions and ways of being with each other, or we all go somewhere warm and have a great time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Something different. So um, I'm feeling it's interesting because I was feeling a little bit of resistance too, because it's a whole, I travel away from my home and I go be with my family. And I was like, huh. So I'm just inviting everyone who's maybe feeling that resistance to tune into through this field that you just so beautifully brought us into. Maybe what's different for you this year? Maybe what's a new alignment in the way that you want to go about things that would feel more resonant and in coherence with the level of energy that you want to be, and step into that, allow that. For me, the first thing was, yep, clear my schedule so I don't have to feel the busyness of that, plus the thing of Christmas and all of that. I just want to like have some open space
Mhm.
to be able to do other things. And so thank you for that invitation too for yourself of going, well, I get to do this and oh, someone else can do that, right?
Mhm.
Great. I don't have to worry about it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah. So I would just love to ask if people want to join with you in any way, how can they find you and reach you? Reach
Yeah,
out.
the best way to connect is visiting the website, which is
Mhm.
www.zoedavenport.com, which is ZOE,
Mhm.
and joining the newsletter. And then you'll be able to find out of any upcoming courses or programs. So that's really the best way. And I'm also on Instagram, which is I am Zoe Davenport. But the main one is the newsletter. I send out a weekly energy update as
Mhm.
well as part of that. And actually, if you go to the website, you can download a higher self meditation as
Yeah.
well. The brand new website.
Ooh, all
Brand
right.
new website. It's
Exciting.
finally done. Yes, yes. That is definitely something that was created outside of time space with procrastination for 3 years. And I got it done in 2.5 days.
Woohoo.
16 pages, all the back end, everything. It's like I feel what I've done now is I've created this beautiful gift online that people can come into this amazing space. Because before I just had a cover page, and due to extremely, incredibly, wow, big personal things these last couple of years, that, caring for my mum before she died, and so much that
Mhm.
just kind of like took a back burner. But now there's a new website. So I'm happy. It's like, oh, please come into my home, have a cup of tea, take your shoes off, sit on the sofa, welcome. Here's a meditation.
That's so exciting and wonderful to hear because I've had a similar experience where I've been wanting to revamp. And during this time, that was one of the things I was going to meditate on is what this new expression that's coming through wants to be on the website and in other platforms. And it feels really wholesome. So I'm really excited. Congratulations for you.
Thank
And
you.
I'm going to take that movement into like, yay, I get to do that too.
I love that. Yes, 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 yes. So yeah, the website is the best way to reach out. And then I'm running a solstice class on Sunday the 21st.
Oh,
So
fun.
you can find details of that on the website or sign up on the newsletter. And then I'm running a 2026 manifesting masterclass at the beginning of January as well. So
Oh,
mhm.
fantastic. Thank you for all of that. And so,
My
yes,
pleasure.
yeah, thank you for being here. And anyone who wants to reach out, please go to www.zoedavenport.com. And if you'd like to reach out to me in any way, you can go to awakensoul.net and we can connect there through the newsletter or any other options that you see on the website. So I am so grateful for you, Zoe, as always, in your
Oh, you too.
embodiment. Thank you so much. And everyone, just take these nuggets of beautiful guidance and presence into your day, into your week, into your life. And may you have a wonderful holiday anywhere or just in your own experience, however you create it. So, so much love to you all. Be well. And thank you again, Zoe. Take care.
Many blessings, everyone. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for joining Awakened Soul, your place to elevate unity consciousness and to create the new earth. Join me, Kristen Bilecki, every first and third Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information and to connect with me, go to awakenedsoul.net. Explore how I can support you on your awakening journey through my online gatherings, sessions, and mentorships. Don't miss a show. Subscribe now to take the steps towards a more awakened, heart and soul led life. Until next time, live, love, laugh, and be free.